Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair. How's it going, folks, and welcome back to the Irish Hunting Podcast. On this week's episode, it's the big debate, feather or fur. We ask people what's their preference when it comes to hunting. Are they more into their deer or more into their pheasant? So we'll have the results on that one. We will also bring a roundup of any news and events that's going on around the country, and Anthony will be telling us about a recent pheasant hunting, a bit of a family affair. He got out for a bit of a pheasant hunt during the week, so he'll bring us up to date on that. I also was out after a Sika with a friend from Australia last weekend, so we'll give you the lowdown on how that went. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Anthony Grogan, how are you getting on, lad?
Good man, you're laughing there because I'm after stuffing my mouth just as we came on air there.
Yeah, lad, wouldn't be like you. Not too bad, man, not too bad. Any old cracker scandal, how's things going?
Oh, good, my man. I'm out in the Grogan's pub here now at the minute. I'm having a pint of Guinness in front of me, and
Our debate.
The fire is lit because it's the only place I can get quiet this year because it's too cold for everyone else to come out.
So, them temperatures are after changing, in fairness, aren't they? Big
they
change.
are, yeah. Look, I suppose they'll suit what we're going to talk about over the next while, won't it?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Plenty of men praying for a bit of cold weather, and by Jesus, we got it.
By Jesus, we did. Yeah, I can't actually. I think it was either last Monday or the month. No, I think it was actually. Was it last Monday or the Monday before? I got into the van and it was 21 degrees, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is unbelievable. By geez, some shift there now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we don't seem to get a lead in at all. It goes from, I think, 16 or 17 degrees last week to -1 today or -1 tonight, whatever it is. But
yeah,
we don't get much of a lead in. But look, no. So we've been lucky enough in fairness with the weather up to now. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we can't argue with in fairness. And the only one good thing is I think I'm finished mowing my lawn for this year, which is great because I was mowing it up until last week and I was thinking to myself, this is a bollocks of a racket. Jesus Christ.
It's great. It's great when you start off first, your lawn, you have a bit of pride about it, and then it gets to a stage where you're just literally, you just want to get it fucking done, and you're cursing if it's raining, of course, and all that kind of stuff. But I must actually send you a video that one of the lads sent me a picture up in Wicklow, or a video up in Wicklow. I'm just banging this onto you now because they just to show you the snow up there.
Oh, are you serious?
Hard to believe, just up the road, but
yeah. Oh, geez, I'm looking at it there now. Yeah, wow, that's unbelievable. I better turn down the noise here. That's unreal, man. That's in Wicklow today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, geez, that's unbelievable. Yeah, and I think it's given. I was just listening to some of the forecast there before we come on, and I think down actually it kind of comes a bit of a shock into south. West and the south. Well, I suppose all of the south is going to get probably the worst of it now. I think where it was, they were talking about some of the north and the Midlands and stuff, but I think the south, kind of Kerry, Cork, maybe down as far as Wexford and stuff. They reckon they're going to get the worst of it now.
Worst of it, yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
It's the way it goes, but that is the way it goes.
Any old crack with you?
Not a whole pile, man. All's kind of quiet enough now. Didn't really get out to do an awful lot, to be honest, since we were probably last talking. All I was actually out for a deer. I brought a friend of, he's a friend of mine now, but he's a friend of my brother-in-law's over in Australia. He was home for a bit of a holiday. Alan Forbes does an awful lot of hunting over there, kind of deer hunting. He hunts all over the world, man. He's been in New Zealand hunting and stuff. He's big into his clay shooting, or used to do an awful lot of clay shooting. I think he shot for Ireland as well. We had him out for a Sika last Saturday morning, but didn't have any joy. But having said that, there was plenty of hinds. Could have got a hind, no bother. But he was over, and I kind of thought, say, for the experience, we'll maybe see if we could hold off and get a stag. But it didn't materialise. But great day, and really, really, really nice fella, interesting fella, and absolutely passionate about hunting. Truly passionate about hunting, and it's kind of infectious, that sort of way. But
He's one of the gang, as they say.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But no, nice fella. So that was kind of the only bit we got to do with myself and McKeever. Might get out later on for a fox.
Good stuff.
We'll see how it goes. But the club is going well. All the boys are say I haven't got out. I don't mind if I don't get out much in it this year, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. Purely because I don't have my dog, but the boys are all shooting and still shooting fairly well. They're all getting birds and stuff, and still seeing plenty of birds and stuff. So yeah,
That's
no,
good. That's good.
it's all going well. It's all going well.
Question for
You,
you, Brenny. Have you
yep.
seen many hens about? Has there, any lads seen any kind of hens about since you
No,
released? No.
no. And I tell you, do you know something? Out of the birds we got, man, I think what do we say? We did 170 cocks, we did
Yeah.
170 birds, and I wouldn't be exaggerating. I think maybe two hens.
Okay.
Two hens. So we actually would like to get some more hens, and I might put it out to people there if there's any hens, or do you know what I mean, towards even the end of the
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
We would certainly like to get a couple of hens and let them out and try and hopefully encourage some breeding and stuff like that. And as well as that, it'll keep cocks around the place too.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what about yourself, man? You had a busy week. You were tipping around to a few of the schools and stuff, and I seen you on
Yeah.
Facebook. You were up in Tiarmahon and stuff.
Yeah, we started kind of as part of kind of the youth development stuff in Newtown School and Tremont School there. So the two closest schools to me actually. And obviously earlier on in the year, way back, we did the whole breeding program where we got incubators into the schools, got eggs in, um, let them hatch out. The kids spent a bit of time with them. We took them away, and obviously we brought them back last Friday, I think. Yeah, last Friday.
Hmm.
So a big shout out to the lads in Kilcock and Kilberry gun clubs who donated both and feeders to the cause. So we put up a little feeder in Newtown
Hmm.
and some feed in it, and then the same in Tremont. And so as part of their green, they have a green team in the school,
Hmm.
and they get kind of, I think they get awarded stuff as they build their green goals, like from an ecological perspective. Um, Obviously we help in that in terms of what we bring. I brought back a few little presents to them as part of the youth development program. We've got a Wi-Fi enabled nesting box, so now we won in Newtown and now we won in Tremont.
Deadly,
Um,
deadly.
and that's going to be connected to a live feed in the school, and hopefully in the springtime that'll bear fruit. I think Newtown actually had um, a visitor who started to build a nest. Is all are mossed out. She has it all mossed out in the nesting box. A little what was it? I can't remember. Bluetish.
Blue. Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So but didn't lay there. So maybe hopefully this is stage one of the process, and we'll be back next year. But and then I got some really cool. Uh, they're clear see-through bird feeders, and they stick onto the outside of the windows. So you fill them a bit of feed, and then the birds feed, so the kids can kind of watch them on the window in the school. So I got a couple of them each, and I had a few of my. I think I showed you the booklets and stuff, fun facts about pheasants and stuff. So we're handing them out, and we're doing a little bit of a quiz on the day,
Brilliant.
and then loads of questions. And we got the feeder hung up, and I got the kids to fill it. And show them the how to go about that. So we had a few volunteers up doing that, and then obviously the whole school gathered round, and I went out to the Jeep, and we had one of the hen pheasants this year. We brought some cocks back last year, but just for to vary it, we brought some of our hens because we hatched out quite a lot of hens this year.
Hmm.
Brought some back, and I kept her nice and calm, just kept her head covered with my hand a little bit, so she wasn't too stressed. And
Hmm.
all the kids, she was very quiet. All the kids came over and kind of have a little feel and touch. And for some of them, that'll be their first time ever touching a bird, never mind a hen pheasant. And it went down a storm, just went down a storm. It was great excitement. And did similar in Newtown. So the rain kind of played a little bit. We had to rush it a little bit. I would have loved to spend a little bit more time and do a few more questions and a bit more talking, but it wasn't possible just with the weather. So that was
Yeah.
cool. That was cool. It's something different, I suppose. And if I have to be honest, obviously being busy and so on, it's kind of, oh Jesus, what am I going to fit this in? but I never come out of there thinking, oh, that was a waste, or it's uplifting, because the
Yeah.
kids are infectious, obviously, and yeah, it hopefully gives a little. I gave a little talk about um, some of the stuff the local gun clubs, and I just threw out a kind of figure. Like, obviously, our gun club released 350 pheasants this year, and they were amazed by that. And I said, if you take collectively, just locally around here, the clubs surrounding this school, there's an excess of 1,500 birds after being released, between the
Yeah.
likes of Prosperous, our own, Timahoe, Racoffey, just around that area, and then back into Kilcock. So,
Yeah.
to be close on 2,000 birds there released in that locality. So,
That's
um,
unreal.
yeah,
Jesus.
so that gives a little bit of perspective, and so obviously the teachers were helping them understand as well what we're doing. It's not all about shooting, as we say.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then we released, there's a lovely little hedgerow, and we threw a little bit of feed underneath the hedgerow for her and released her nice and steady in there. And she ran up along the hedgerow and nestled down and seemed quite content there. So hopefully she'll hang around, and the kids will get a little glimpse of her every now and again.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant.
That was
Yeah, it's a
cool.
great,
That's
just a
cool.
great way to get kids interacting and stuff, and something that's probably, it's going to bridge that gap between, what, the interest that kids had years ago, and the way obviously
Yeah,
technology has kind of taken over now, so there's not the same kind of interest in it. A lot of them don't know, so it's an absolute brilliant, and it can, like, little things, little changes like that can change someone's whole career path, life path. You know what I mean? If you're introduced to something like that
perspective.
at that
Yeah,
age, you know what I mean. It
absolutely.
can actually make a huge difference. So it's fair play to you. It's great to see. Well done to
No, it's cool.
yourself and the Kildare Federation and the NRGC. It's great to see them, being proactive in doing stuff. Do you know, that sort of way?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, there's a few bob there to be spent on it every year, and obviously there's art competitions being run and
Hmm.
so on. And yeah, it's brilliant. Look, there's all kinds of initiatives going on all the time, and it's just probably about getting involved. I know it's hard by times, but if we don't look after it, if we don't preserve it, and we don't try and pass on, we're not going to pass it on to every kid, But out of that whole school,
Hmm.
if there's another child or two out of it that um, takes up game and conservation, then it's a win. It's a win because it'll be
Absolutely.
two more that we wouldn't have in the gang. And I suppose it's more importantly is kids are great, man, because they'll go home and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they'll educate the adults, because
Hmm.
um, as much as we're trying to educate kids, there's a generation probably in between this one and our one who are very, and I say this in inverted commas, informed,
Hmm.
but not necessarily informed in the correct manner, and that's what we have to try and turn. We're not trying to force anyone into our way of thinking. All we're trying to do is say, look, this is what we do.
Hmm.
We understand your way, your thinking. Here's ours. Just respect it the same way we respect yours, and that's about it.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, yeah. No, Jesus, great. It's a great idea, and it'll definitely aid in for um, extending the life of what we do and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because it
as much as
was.
we can, as much as
Yeah,
we can.
yeah, absolutely, 100%, man, without a doubt. Talking about, did you I want to talk actually about before we move on to that, or before we move on, you had a great successful day. Was that last weekend with your dog and with the father?
Did yeah, without I actually went out a Friday afternoon. With myself and dinner, we're going to the match, and went out first Friday afternoon. I was actually bringing the dogs for a quick walk, and I said, "Fuck it, I killed two birds with one stone." I brought the pointer and the springer out together,
Yeah,
just down to a snipe field here beside. I call it the snipe field. It's a rushy outfield. It's always holds a few snipe.
yeah,
Um, and I said, I killed two birds with one stone. I'd take a quick whiz down. I'd run the dogs up and down it a couple of times, throw up a few snipe if I can, and so yeah, ran that field up and down, threw up three or four snipe. I threw up a couple of videos there. I missed. I thought it was nailed on, but I think I overled on the first one and under on the second one, as most people would attest. But they're as we all know, they're hard little feckers to shoot. But that's a cool thing about shotgun. You can kind of review and say, like, because I kind of stopped after the first shot. I was expecting it to drop,
Yeah.
because I picked it up quite well and gave it a nice lead as I thought. But it was a little bit closer than probably I recognised.
Hmm.
But yeah, then another one popped up to my left, um, and the pointer actually rose, believe it or not, um, and I shot it, pinged it with the first shot, um, and down she went. And then I was working on getting my dog to retrieve. Now this is where the difficulty with having two dogs on the day.
Hmm.
I was I was getting her to market. So I bring her beside me, make her sit, and then I give her a mark. So in other words, I point in the direction I want her to retrieve.
Hmm.
Um, and she started off, and then the pointer, of course, who has very little manners,
Hmm.
was jumping over. And this is where I think Pat Brennan was talking about the dog's personality and trying to gain confidence. And the pointer I'm trying to work, because she was very, very nervous when I got her. She was late in the day when I got her, as we know, but
Hmm.
so I'm trying not to shout, trying to, I'm building her trust and all that kind of stuff, and getting her kind of excited about coming out and hunting. And so she's a little bit more, what would you say, lively,
Hmm.
when I'm trying to command. So that was breaking the Springer's concentration. But then on the second time, again, went a little bit closer and again marked it, went over, and of course the snipe Julie obliged, just did a little kind of a flip, it
Yeah.
was obviously winged, and next thing straight on, boom, collected and brought it back to me. So that was a good start. Went home happy. Um, the dogs went home happy, and then Sunday morning I went out with the purpose of trying to get me dad on a pheasant, and I had no intention of shooting anything. Myself, I'd released a couple of birds out the back, the home place, and a couple of hens as well. Um, and yeah, I wanted to try and get him on a board. So yeah, went up, did a lovely loop. It was actually a beautiful morning. There was a little bit of a bite in the air Sunday morning,
Hmm.
and went up across the old bridge across the river, and hunted in. And there's two lovely big beet fields there, um, and started to hunt. And the first couple of fields, threw up nothing. I said to my father, I go in through this one of the beet fields. I'd hunted up and down, and which I duly did, and got soaked to me up to my waist.
Hmm.
Um, but threw up, and the Springer was hunting magic. Now she was, bouncing through the beat. The problem was it was so vast. You probably want a line of two or three beaters, but put up nothing there, and then worked our way back around, and we're coming up the laneway. I think I brought you up that laneway once before on the foxes, and on the left hand side, about 200 yards, a pheasant obviously was running along the ditch in front of us that we didn't know, and then came out on the roadway a little bit. Um, so we went up along. It's a kind of boreen, it's a grass. We call it the toker, but up
Yeah.
along it anyway. And in it went, dived into the ditch. So I brought the Springer up, and we hunted up along the ditch. And next thing she went onto the scent, fucking straight in, up the ditch, and threw up a cock. But it was only a small little cock, so my dad didn't pull on that one. Um, it was a young cock, which is great to see. Um, and it flew kind of back over us. So we worked our way back up again. And again, I went into the second beat field. Um, and with that, I was just literally stepping in across the wire into the beat. And the Springer was jumping in across from me. And I said there was a pheasant right on the edge of the beat. And just as we went into the beat, it took off maybe 50, 60 yards away ahead of me. And my dad didn't have a shot, so I didn't pull. Um, but again, took off and headed back into a field in front of us. So we hunted the beat down along. And I said to my father, we'll go back in here now and see can the bird pick up, or the dog pick up this bird. So with that, I spotted out the corner of my eye, the cock doing a dive into the hedge on the right hand
Hmm.
side. I went back out the far side and hunted up along. And my Springer she picked up the scent quite early. But
Hmm.
I didn't want to get the pheasant running ahead of me because my dad was out in the heavy field, out onto the left hand side. So I said to him, right, I'll put the dog on the lead, and I'll bring her up and around and work back slightly.
Yeah.
Um, So with that, my dad was making his way up along the hedgerow, and I came in at the top of the field, then heading back towards him, and I was about 20 foot deep in the corners, big old brush and briar, heavy cover, I brought the dog around, and she wasn't picking it up because she'd no headwind. So um, my dad was saying, "Oh, this is unusual." I'd say the pheasant's in there, she's not picking up the scent. So I just literally brought her back around at the back of my father, um, along the hedgerow. And next thing, she picked up the scent straight away, working into the wind.
Hmm.
And then in she went. I stood back to the left hand side, and I just said I knew it by the tail. She was going ballistic and she was beating into the cover. Went in, threw up the cock right up into the middle of the brush and back over me, and it swung back over towards the outfit then, and he pulled, clipped it, and tumbled. And of course, the pheasant ran a little bit, and the springer straight after her collected and brought her. And I'd say it was maybe I was a good 80, 90 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Um, Collected, brought straight back to my feet. So couldn't
Jesus
ask for a better
Christ.
day than that,
Couldn't have asked for better than that, man. In all fairness, that's
Yeah,
unreal.
just literally over a year old. So like I'm absolutely ecstatic with that. She also between that she threw up a lovely woodcock
Hmm.
as well, and again without my dad's side, he actually thought it was a hen pheasant initially because we weren't expecting. It was actually the same spot just up from where the young cock was, and I thought she was on that scent again. So I didn't even have the gun raised, and I
Yeah.
just cocked the gun over the hedge. Then it was a woodcock.
No way.
And I was raging because I would have, that was the one thing I would have pulled on the day.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but anyway, look, it'll be there again. So,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Jesus, good old day all the same. It was great. Great.
yeah, that
Great.
was rose two or three cocks. And then on the way back, a little hen pheasant. She rose a hen pheasant on the way back. So that was a good day out. A good day out for her.
Class. Absolutely class. Can't ask for can't ask for anybody. Any issues with fatigue? Is she just going, or
On the 1st of November, I know she died of death, because she was going hell for leather at the start.
Mhm.
But obviously, she's been out a couple of times with me now, so her fitness is just coming through. She's lean, dried up as well. We've kind of altered her food a little bit. She was a
Mhm.
little bit on the heavy side, so altered her food slightly. She's in great nick, and yeah, she could have went. I'd say she could have went another hour. Now we did. I did 9 kilometers. That was the trek. So that was nine hard beaten kilometers. Now there weren't grass fields or anything. So
Yeah.
she stuck with it. The one little thing, I suppose, if I'm being ultra critical, she won't, like, on command. I can have her going down left or right into ditches or whatever, but
Mhm.
she'll dip down and come straight back up again if there's nothing in there. Now, if she's on a scent, you won't stop her from going in.
Okay.
But she won't beat it on command. She'll go in, do a little bit looking around, a bit of skirmishing around inside, and come straight back up again. And look, that's probably one thing. I'm not pushing her too hard because I'm conscious she's only 14, 15 months old. So
Mhm.
she's way ahead of where I would have expected her, liked her to be. And once she knows the game in terms of if I am to, like, on Sunday where that corner I was commander to go in, so once she gets to know, like, that, if I wanted to go in somewhere, there's a good chance she'll put up a cock and she gets to retrieve out. She'll start to get that. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brilliant stuff, man. Just onwards and upwards. Onwards and
Yeah,
upwards, man. Yeah, yeah. How I meant to ask you, so how's the lads getting on in the club? How are they? Good reports, getting a couple of birds?
everyone I think has got on the board now. By and large. I think the brother hasn't is the only one yet, but he was only out for a couple of hours on the first day. So
Hmm.
get him out again now and try and get him on a pheasant will be the next mission.
Hmm.
Um, and try and get him to clean the gun now. That'll be the next thing. You want to see it stay, this thing.
Are you
I said,
serious?
oh, jeez, man. Now you think my old gun does get tortured. This is a next level.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
Jesus Christ. But anyway,
Brilliant.
but
Brilliant.
yeah, so good reports, and there's a little bit of work started on the pens now. The pens are empty. Some of them, we kept back a few for, obviously, for breeding for next year, and we've a few left for of our younger ones left that we bred out ourselves. They're left to let out before Christmas, next couple of weeks. So
Brilliant.
we have we started to one of the pens was kind of a little bit there was a little bit of a dish in the middle of it. It was holding a little bit of water and it was
Hmm.
holding a bit or a bit of muck. It was holding a bit on a dry winter. We didn't want a chance going into a wet winter, so we already got the boys were up there Sunday doing great work there, bringing in a bit of kind of gravelly clay, and then
Hmm.
we'll overlay it then with a topsoil, and then we'll sow it then in the springtime. So, um, yeah, bit of work like that, just a bit of kind of upkeep, and everyone seems to be happy. I think the general consensus is this was the best year in quite a long time. So if
Brilliant.
that's if it continues like that, I think that makes it all. And if everyone's getting aboard, they're more willing to put in the bit of work when it comes around and so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
that's good. It's good. How's everyone getting on in yours, man?
Yeah,
Good reports all around.
yeah, getting on well. Now, I wasn't hospital in a couple of days, but I know Murph got out. He was out one of the mornings there this week, and he got his first bird anyway. And yeah, I think by and large, I'd say the majority of them are after getting a bird or two out of it. Again, some lads would have hunted it more than others, of course, depending on times
Yeah,
and stuff. But yeah, no, by and large, they're all going well. The uncle actually lives two houses kind of down the road from me. Sent me a picture the other day, a cock pheasant in his yard, and he just said to me, he says, "Geez," he says, "I don't know," he said, "if I ever seen a cock pheasant in my yard," but he says, it's great to see them back. Do you know what I mean? It is great to see them back in the area and stuff. So, which is great. Like so, yeah, no, all
brilliant.
going well, all going well. I say I didn't really get out much myself, and I don't mind if I do. You know, I did most
Yeah,
important thing was to kind of get the club up and running, and then maybe over the next year or so, I might eventually, if things calm down a bit, get working on a dog for myself, and then we'll go hell for leather, and that's I suppose the topic of one of the topics we want to talk about on this podcast, and it's I suppose not to pick a favorite, but like for a lot of lads that do both, we were speaking. We something we've spoke about ourselves a couple of times when it
yeah,
comes to the likes of pheasant show, or indeed like wild waterfowl and stuff, or deer hunting. Two completely different disciplines, uh, and a lot of the time done by two very different type of people.
yeah,
And not an awful lot, really, I suppose, realistically do both, but there would be, a few, but majority of the people would be diehard one and not the other. So I suppose that's the
yeah,
conversation we wanted to have was to see do you know what I mean? What was people's
yeah.
preferences or why, I suppose, the biggest thing.
Yeah, I suppose it's the I suppose it's the talk that goes around the pub sometimes where the feather versus fur debate and like look, I debated myself in my own head at times, because you're I remember going back to my own what got me into it was I read a book one year and I still have the book, a brilliant book. Can't rightly remember the name. I'll actually put a picture up afterwards. But it was a really cool book and it was just about the traditional rough shooting lifestyle,
Hmm.
going out with your dog, generally on Stephen's Day and not generally, but that Stephen's Day, day after Christmas, go out with the dog, go after a couple of pheasants and the kind of few pints afterwards and the stories and the seeing the dog work and all that kind of stuff. And that's really, I remember reading it and thinking this just was, I know I'm going to love this, the type of way.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably what got me into it in the first place. Um, and like that, I didn't come from a traditional shooting background, so probably was lucky that I came across that and a few other kind of influences at the time. So, but obviously transpired, and we move on to deer hunting. And you rightly said it. Like I probably bring this is probably one of the and people are going to probably say, "Jesus, what's this lad talking about?" But I bring a lot of my rough shooting habits into my deer shooting. I don't tend to sit up and just wait, which is probably detrimental and why I don't have the numbers I have.
Hmm.
Um, I tend to like explore the ground and try and track and find out because I'm only learning. I wanted to know, why are they going certain ways? They're obviously they feed into the wind, to for the smell and safety and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then on the other side of it, then where they bed down, why they're bedding down there, the winds, all that kind of stuff. So you're learning so much when you're moving around. Whereas I could be uh, perched up in one spot. And I don't get me wrong, I will get to that stage in my life, I suppose, where I'll be getting just perched up in a spot and wait for the deer to come to me. Um, but just at the minute, it's probably just not my gig. I tend to do a little mixture of both. I like to do a little bit of walking, a little bit of hardship, for and see can I get as close in as I can to them, you know. But the other night actually, Bernie, I think it was what day was it? It was a day last week coming into it was one of the colder evenings. Not now it wasn't cold, but it was kind of like nice and bright. It wasn't too cloudy, and I said, "Oh, yeah, it was after the night after the heavy fog lifted, you know."
Yes.
Um, and I finished up early and about 4 o'clock or something like that. So I said, just for an hour, a quick hour, slip up, um, and have a look for Jeffrey for the last hour and a half of light, you know. So up I went and up along the lane, and I wasn't long. I say I was only 100 meters in down the lane, and here, and I just literally. But now I wasn't expecting. This is I suppose the the unexpected nature of deer stalking. You know, they're generally sometimes where you don't expect them to be, but there's a kind of a hedgerow and a forestry on my left, and a thick kind of a bushy hedge, and a bit of stumpy bog on the right hand side, and there was a kind of like the brush is starting to, they're losing their leaves, so you can kind of see flickers through. And for whatever reason, man, I just seen a glimmer of light appear on the right hand side. So it wasn't that I spotted a deer initially; it was just that obviously the deer was moving and up against the hedge, which looked like heavy cover. And when she moved, the light just came through, and that just caught me eye, and over I looked, and here was just now I was walking into the wind, which thankfully, because I wouldn't have got to see it, but here she was down grazing. So I just perched into the forestry just on my left, crept in, um, and just waited. And with that, she started just move on, and every so often she put up the head a little bit and move head down again and graze on. The calf came out behind her, and I said, "Oh, she's just a doe and a calf." And my freezer's full at the minute, so I've no interest in taking a doe or a calf. And anyway, it's only a small little herd up there.
Yeah.
So she moved on a little bit, and I was going to move on. And just as I was about to pick up the sticks, and another doe came out behind her,
No way.
and I said, "Oh, fucking this." And they just hopped across actually onto my side. And when she hopped across onto my side, she must have got a little waft of me,
Hmm.
because she just started to stare down. So I was there with the binos, and I was staring right at her, similar to the Sika story. She's looking straight down. I couldn't move a muscle. And then she started to graze again. So kind of relaxed a little bit. She went on, and then another doe, then a small, or sorry, young stag. Um, he was antlerless. He was doing a bit of grunting, but no antlers on him. But doing a kind of little bit of a grunt, so you could. He was in that kind of herd, um, and so they all came across. And there was seven, believe it or not. No, sorry, six. Six came across altogether,
Jesus
and I watched them
Christ.
all one by one. Um, and so I waited again, and then I started to push up. And just at that, I looked over again, and here wasn't the arse of a deer, facing me,
Yeah.
but I couldn't see a head, couldn't see a neck, just literally the backside. So up I came and grazing away, and then lifted up the head, and he looked over at the other herd, and I knew he was stag just by the sheer size of him, even from the backside, um, and kind of turned around, and he was kind of staying behind the herd, and it was the my friend up there, the two pointer, the young stag, but he's like a fucking Hercules,
Yes.
Um, so like that, I put up the rifle scope just to get a better look at him in case it was Jeffrey, but it wasn't. It was just it was him. So he just skipped across, no more than 40, 45 meters, I'd say, away from me.
Jeez.
Um, and again, as he came across, he looked straight down at me. Now he seen me,
Hmm.
uh, because I kind of stood up at this time to put the gun up. He seen me, stood looking at me, and then when he kind of stopped, I could hear the other one barking at him, kind of doing a bit of a grunting, as if come on over here, fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Um, that he kind of grunted back. He skipped in, stood again looking, but I stood there. I stood there till it was dark, till I couldn't see through the scope nearly anymore. I could make the silhouette out. He stood looking at me for 20, 25 minutes.
No way.
Then I walked up and I could see just around the corner was the moon had kind of broken through and I could see not the moon, but the last light shimmer through the trees.
Hmm.
And I could see just the silhouettes of three or four of them kind of dancing through the header, skipping away from me. So it was great to see. Look, and like that, it's good to be able to get in that close to them and see them up close, in their kind of their natural habitat. And I packed up I actually had to collect the kids from or the first one of the kids from her football, for 6:30. So I was back up, ready for her with the gun in the back, ready for to collect her from training. Um, but yeah, and that's a brilliant side to it. But which would you prefer, Brady? If like you get what I mean. We've talked about this with the rough shooting element, where
Hmm.
we obviously like that element of hunting, and it's probably it's a different discipline, isn't it? Deer stalking.
No, it is. It is absolutely. It is. Look at if I'm kind of it's probably hard for me to kind of give no, I suppose an honest answer because like it's an easy one I suppose at the minute for me it'd be deer stalking at the minute, but that's not take away. I haven't had a gun dog in 10 years realistically because I was
Yeah,
obviously overseas for probably six of them. So and then whatever that was going on, but like I still do remember. Now I know it was before it was deer stalking, but I do remember the night before the 1st of November and like the excitement that there was and getting the dog ready and clipping the dog and you know what I mean, making sure everything was right and do you know what I mean, getting up that morning to breakfast and heading out with the dog. Like that's what it was all about for me. I think I genuinely think there are two things that really do go hand in hand together.
yeah,
So and of course I'm missing 50% of that straight away. So not to take away, I still thoroughly do enjoy going out after a pheasant. But without the dog and knowing your chances are a lot less, but probably not really that. Just to get that excitement and that buzz, I was seeing the dog working. Um, is it would be the reason I'd be going. Definitely, it'd be deer hunting for me at the minute.
yeah,
The deer hunt, man, it takes us, to just some magical places too. Like that kind of away from where we traditionally be hunting.
yeah,
Um, but then I suppose it's the size of the animal and it's the bounty. It's what you're getting out, but you're getting a supply of meat like that last hind I got there. Like Jesus, man, you want to see the meat I'm after getting out of that? Like absolutely unbelievable.
yeah,
So there's
yeah,
that. There's kind of a double whammy. You're getting out for the hunt, but you're also getting a massive reward. Aside from I suppose the the exercise and the buzz of getting out and everything, you're getting the meat out of it. So, um, yeah, for me at the minute, it would be definitely deer stalking. But as I say, no, if I had a good dog with me, like a Springer or something that I was confident with, I probably wouldn't be able to answer that question. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It'd be even Stevens, I suppose. Do you know? But that being said, like the ducks, geez, I used to love that, but we just kind of haven't. We didn't have time. Like realistically, that's the bottom line. But I did thoroughly enjoy that. Like, you know what I mean? I know we had the boat and stuff, but again, it's just kind of, I suppose, down to time. But that's another type of hunting that I really enjoy,
yeah.
Um, just, yourself been out in the water this time of year when you get the cold weather like this, it's just absolutely beautiful. I remember the time we went out, was it Loch? What was the name of the loch? Where did we go at that time? Remember the fog? I remember it was that cold. What was the name of
Yes,
that?
yeah, yeah. I can't remember the luck.
Was it Loch Ree, was it?
No, it wasn't Knockry, I don't think,
No, it wasn't
Bernie.
Loch Ree. No, it was not. No, it was Loch. What was the name of that one? Jenny Mac. Uh, but that was unbelievable. Like, that was just one of those experiences.
It was
Freezing
brilliant.
cold. Yeah, out in the middle of the lake, and the only thing lighting up the sky was the stars. Now it was just that was class. So yeah, it's a tough one at the minute. My efforts
You're leaning
probably
towards, yeah,
focused on the deer at the minute. That'd
Yeah,
be my aspect.
it's,
But I would love to hear others' opinions and what you know what I mean, what and why maybe their
absolutely,
favorite. You know.
absolutely. Like I think for me, I kind of look, we're blessed to be able to do both, I suppose, first and foremost, and then I think if you were to ask me right now, which would I not go without, it would be the pheasant hunting. You know what I mean? I just I like the uh, I just like the energy about it. You know the like that's not to say like I flip flop. You know because obviously I did a huge amount of deer stalking this year and um compared to the initial parts of most years, but. Uh, I just obviously with the dog, it does bring it. You're 100% correct. It does bring it to a different level. It's even like Sunday. I came back, and when I say I was buzzing, obviously my dad had shot a pheasant, which I was delighted from. Um,
Mhm.
he hadn't shot one in a couple of years, and because birds weren't that plentiful, and you know that we were working really really hard, and I hadn't a good dog either. I had some years I had no dog, and other years I had a dog that wasn't you
Mhm.
might as well had no dog, So
Yes.
um, and this year is probably the first year I have any kind of and this is not because if somebody comes out with me and sees my dog hunting, they're probably saying this is just a mediocre dog. But
Hmm.
for me, and this is more about probably training myself than the dog, is learning how to properly train a dog and put in the time and the effort and get and getting a little bit of reward back now. So I'm seeing kind of what's possible if that makes sense. And so that's going to encourage me probably to go to the next level and maybe breed another one and put in another little bit of work. And I'll know better on the next one what I have to do because I know already all the mistakes. I can tell you like loads and loads of mistakes I made, trying to I was boring the dog, with retrieves, I probably should have introduced a little bit of dead game to her a little bit earlier rather than boring the teeth out of her, trying to get her and getting kind of not vexed with her, but getting annoyed with her that she was only retrieving some of them, the balls and stuff and that, dummies. And then when I brought the bit of kind of frozen game, the defrosted game into it, that brought her on another level. And then Rob was teaching me a few things about getting a bit of scent trail and stuff like that, and down to ditches and getting her to do blinder trees and all that kind of stuff. So I'm learning myself probably more so than the dog. The dog is probably uh, the magic is inside the dog is trying to get that out of them in a manner that's fair to them and reasonable to you. And I think that's been a revelation for me this year. I think you're right. If you can get yourself on a dog, get a little pup there this year or something, and have it coming on for the year after next, that's and unfortunately that's the way we have to be thinking with dogs. It's not get a dog and it'll be grand next year. If you're getting a pup, and after Christmas or something, realistically, it's going to be the following season by the time you have that dog, hunting
Yeah.
for you.
Exactly.
Um, so it's a lot of work and a lot of effort, but genuinely think the rewards are just fantastic. I'm not ever going to be a dog trainer because I wouldn't be either patient or skilled enough to do it. But I definitely would urge anyone who has the the urge to get back into it to do it or go to one of the trials. That's what kind of got me the little bit of graw for it. And you learn so much. And the people in it are just they're different level, in terms of handling dogs and so on. So if
Yes.
you if you can take little bits of that, I generally think it's they are two different disciplines, but probably at the minute I'm probably leaning towards the pheasant element of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
you're right in what you said. When there's a miss the beat moment when you have a scope on a deer.
Hmm.
That's probably like nothing else you've ever felt. Um, but I definitely think even my young fella, the second lad, he had a couple of shots out of our guns this year, for the first time. Um, and like that, I said to him, "Would you like pheasants shooting?" I said, "Yeah." Like, 'cause I've never pushed any of them into it. And he said, "But when you shot that, when that cock got up and you shot that," he said, "I was so excited. The roar out of the cock. I just think that for me is unrivaled. I think when a cock gets up and a big croak out of it, and you do manage to get on it, there is no better feeling. It's even for my dad. I was over the moon for my dad. It wasn't a huge cock by any means, but it was a cock, and it was the one that we had to work for. And I
Mhm.
think that's it's just an unrivaled feeling. I think it's electric. It would be the word I
Absolutely.
describe it.
Absolutely,
Um,
without a doubt, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, yeah. I was delighted actually when I seen the Tones holding it during the week. I said to myself, I was just delighted for him. You know what I mean? It was brilliant.
Yeah, of course, we came home for the big cook up. Then back into my mum's. The whole gang was over there. My all my crew, which is of course, no better woman. Like Jesus, there was
Jesus Christ.
whatever amount I have, 6 or 7 of them or whatever it is there, I bring across.
Mm.
And the two tables are she has an extendable table in there that does be pulled out, and the fry, what you know yourself, brown bread
Oh,
and
dear.
the whole shebang.
I forgot to actually say it on the last podcast, man. I have never in all my life ever seen a breakfast as big as the one Mammy Grogan put up to me a couple of weeks ago. I swear to God, lad, I hardly ate since, and not just caught you. I had to come home and lay down. It was a feed and a half. It was class.
But
So,
sure,
yeah,
the biggest argument is to try and get her to sit down and eat her own. She's running around there to be like
yeah.
there was it's and this is probably it's like something out of the Unbelievables. And God rest
God rest
John
John
Kenny with
Kenny.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it was like there's you have every different type of bread. There's fried bread, brown bread, white bread, toast.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So,
Four different types
so
of potatoes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah. No, it's
chips, beans,
class.
sausage. There's every fried tomato, fried mushroom.
Right,
Fucking
right.
hell.
And cold beans.
Cold beans right in front of man,
Yeah,
front and
absolutely.
center.
Yeah.
but
Holy shit, that's unreal. But
but of course he came in the door, of course, and the kids, did you get Anne, Granny? Did you get Anne? And he says, of course he did. He said, of course he did. He said, and I love the cock and one shot, bang bang. So brilliant,
Deadly, deadly,
brilliant.
brilliant. That's class. Unreal. That's brilliant. Yeah, yeah. Sure. Look, it's a good one. It'll certainly start a couple of conversations with people anyway. Do you know what I mean? When they're just talking about the pros and cons and what they prefer to do. And it is funny like that. It does seem to be like a separate. Do you know what I mean? Like some people are just die hard pheasant shooting, and then others obviously are after the deer. Do you know what I mean? And it's just one of those
Yeah,
weird things. I know an awful lot of lads that deer hunt but don't do any pheasant hunting, and most lads that I know that pheasant hunt don't do any deer hunting. So
yeah.
it's just one of those things, I suppose, isn't it?
Probably is. I think down to what you said there, Bernie. I think a lot of now I could go down a fucking rabbit hole with dogs now, and that's
Hmm.
and knowing me, I probably will, but
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can kind of see how you get kind of engrossed in it because you're,
absolutely.
you're you're trying to get the dog to work a little bit better or get a better dog or you know what I mean, and then obviously the shooting aspect, it tests you. You've every shot is completely different. Where deer stalking, you know what I mean. It's very what would you say? It's kind of like systematic. You get up in your sticks, you you'll wait for the right moment. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
it's very what would you say? Clinical. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
very you get your breathing right and steady you going, all that kind of stuff. And whereas rough shooting is very kind of it's instinctive, isn't it? There's that
Yeah.
little bit of where's that pheasant going to break, and where you think he's going to fucking break, he won't. And you have to normally have to swing around, and then you have to give him a bit of a lead, depending on how far away he is, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
So there's all that, and that's all done very, very instinctively, very on off the cuff, and I think that's what's likable about that element of it. And also on the other side, that's what's likable about the deer stalking. It's very, it requires patience and skill and precision, um, um, and obviously then like a huge amount of knowledge to you're testing wind and getting into the right spot, backstops. There's a lot of stuff going on there that has to be taken into account. So two completely different. But I suppose my thing would be do the both of them.
Yeah,
Just do the both.
absolutely. Yeah, if you can at all,
You
go
know,
and do both of
do
them.
them
Yeah,
all.
don't
Do them
choose.
all. Don't
Yeah,
choose. Yeah, just do
absolutely.
them
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Honest to God, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting one. Yeah, yeah.
Come here. Are you getting out yourself at all over next while, Brenny? What's the plans? Are you?
Might
what's
might
the
might possibly head out Sunday, maybe all going well. Want to get back out with Ross. Need to get Ross up, and want to try and get him a deer, man. But sure, he's yourself, McQuaid, man. He's that hesitant. You'd nearly have to pull the trigger for him, that sort of way. But, which is like, I mean, I appreciate being careful and cautious, and absolutely that's great. And some lads should be probably more careful and cautious. But McQuaid takes it to a. He'd nearly ring me before he takes the shot.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, like, you
I
can
want.
kind of understand it too. You can
Hundred
understand
percent,
it.
100%, 100%. No, I want to get him out, man, and I want to get a deer with him, man. I want to do that. So yeah, all going well, man. Might head out on Sunday, maybe. Yeah. What about yourself?
Well, in fairness to Ross, I'll give him this bit of advice. I think I was nearly 2 seasons before I fucking pulled the trigger on a deer.
Yeah.
So like that, I can completely understand it. It's there's your I remember one year. This is no messing. Myself and Rob were out, and a deer stood up in front of me. I'll never forget it.
Hmm.
And no more than 40 yards. And I wouldn't pull the trigger because I couldn't see where the other fella was. Now I had fucking backstops and everything. I had about 10 backstops um, because I was in a forestry. But I could have and stood there looking at me. I had, and if I often think about that moment now, of all the deers that I've shot, this was hands fucking down. I'd actually walked past it. It obviously stood up out of a bit of heavy cover and was looking back at me. And it managed to well, I managed to get the sticks, get me going on the sticks, look at it through. I had the hog hunter, the Vortex hog hunter on at the time, and the old Bergara. And I remember looking at it, and I could have nearly threw the gun at it. That's how close it was to it. And I was there. Jeez, I picked out the phone. I started to ring Rob to see where he was. Of course, he wasn't answering because he was on silent. I rang him about 3 times. And with that, the deer just fucked off. So, and I remember,
Okay.
I remember that moment clearly. So I can understand it. But once he gets off off the mark, he'll be flying. He'll be flying, no doubt,
Exactly.
no doubt.
We should have a doubt. Yeah, I just like to get it for him because he's invested in it more than any of us. You know what I mean? He's invested a good few bob in it, and he's
Yeah,
he wants to get it, and I know he'll so look, we'll hopefully maybe get him out maybe Sunday, see what way things are, and
please God.
we'll go from there, man. We'll go from there. We'll see what the crack is. But we wanted to also chat about the we're talking about the IHP 24-hour challenge. It's kind of
Yeah,
getting to that time of year, man. So we're kind of wanting to leave it open for suggestions. So we're going to give it maybe a week or so, maybe to get some suggestions in off people. I thought the format last year worked very well
I think it did. I think it did. I
because
think it was more inclusive. I think.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But it'd be interesting to see. Maybe we're missing the trick. Maybe there's something else we could add to it or something. But
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
tweak or something. Yeah, maybe there's a tweak that we can put it to. We want to. I think competition side kind of, and I know it's important to have a bit of competition because it gets the juices for everyone and it gives a bit of an incentive and so on. But we just want to get people out, get them out on the ground on a day after Christmas, give them something. I think the general consensus over the last is obviously it doubled, I think, or more than doubled, trebled, I think, last year in size compared to the first year. There's huge interest and huge buy-in. Um, I think this year we want to try and build on that momentum, get another few people. I had a couple of messages there on Instagram during the week actually asking what's the story with, when is it on, dates and all that kind of stuff. So people are actually looking, starting to plan around it. So that's brilliant to hear. And I think what we want to do is, and a couple of things that have come to mind. We haven't even talked about this because me and Brandy have been flat out all day. We've just been doing a few messages back and forward, and a couple of ideas that came into my head that we might just expand on, or we might get the listeners' input in. Is obviously would love to get a charity involved this year. Or two charities. Maybe you pick a
Mhm.
charity, I pick a charity, and it'll be if people wanted to donate to whatever team, and maybe we can incorporate that as part of a small, what would you say, buy-in fee or something like that, just a small donation. We
Mhm.
won't probably limit it to it's whatever people can maybe afford.
Mhm.
But just to
So,
get a couple of charities on board and make it just a bit more of a worthy cause. We do it. I think we started, Brenny, to try and get from the mental health perspective. So we might look at maybe one of the charities from that end of things. Um, I think to get people out, get them up off the chairs and out into nature, go for a walk,
Hmm.
after Christmas. And I think that was the primary aim of it, and I think it's probably expanded from there. And then obviously we'll call it the mentors challenge. We'll have obviously my team and your team, and we'll have to do some sort of a challenge or some sort of maybe a forfeit or something like jumping a river or something like that maybe. But we might put that out to the listeners, the whatever. Now, I asked Robert today for, and this was his response. So he told me to tell you. I think this is in retaliation to the bit of a challenge last year. He said he'd have to obviously team Razor and Taser will have to take a bit of no, no, it wasn't Razor Taser. What were we last year? I can't
Ankles, something in
team
ankles,
ankles,
wasn't it?
something
Yeah,
in
yeah,
ankles,
yeah,
biceps and ankles or something.
yeah.
Well, I haven't much biceps left, man, so I'll have to change that, tweak that one. But there's
Yeah.
there's bellies and ankles maybe that might be more fit. But he said, we'll have to get some sort of a handicap this year. So we'll have to, he reckons that we'll have to go out blindfolded this year, maybe to give yourself and McQuaid a chance.
Oh, what an absolute arsehole. Jesus Christ.
Either that, or he
What
said we could do the three-legged race, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Honest to God, yeah, yeah. You won't be far off. You might be far off. Holy
So
Jesus! Yeah,
we, we, we
I might bring Big Mac with me this year, maybe just to change things up. I give
change things
McQuaid the
up.
flick. Yeah,
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 jeez. I
yeah.
tell you what, thing, man, that wasn't long about. I put on McQuaid. I tell you, I hope he goes out now and shoots with 10 deer on Sunday.
I tell you,
I'll
there'd be
change her.
there'd
I'll
be
change her mind.
some there'd be some fucking hope, man. There'd be some hope. Jesus Christ, the mate.
Now,
Uh,
whatever, as Pat Short would say, whatever move you make
yeah.
sure and get a video of him dragging whatever he shoots up that hill. And
Absolutely. If McQuaid had his way, man, he ideally what he'd like to befriend the deer and then persuade it to the walk to the van and then shoot in the van. That'd be the ideal scenario for him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
yeah,
that'd be a
yeah.
good one. That would be a good one.
No,
I'd be looking forward to that.
hopefully now I think there's a rake of snow coming.
Yeah.
It'll actually be a
Hmm.
nice weekend for it, man. If you do get out,
Yeah,
um,
for
and
sure.
yeah, a bit of hardship would be great.
Yeah,
Take a
yeah,
nice
absolutely.
video of him puffing coming up the hill. Brilliant.
Yeah, honest to God, stopping every 5 yards for a fag. Lord, oh,
So
just be priceless, priceless.
it'll be yourself and Big Mac this year.
I'd say so, maybe, man. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Big Mac has the new
good stuff.
shotgun and stuff as well now, so
Good
he,
stuff.
he's keen. Ah, no, look, I don't know. We'll have to see. That's another thing we want to sort out because look, it'll be myself and Ross, but probably Big Mac as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll have to come up with some sort of a plan and see what to go for. I honestly don't know. I thoroughly do enjoy the bit of pike fishing, even though it hasn't been successful the
Productive.
past. Yeah, a couple of years, but I still do thoroughly enjoy this. Take a nice little break. But tactics, what way we're going to go about it and stuff, I honestly don't know, man. I'm not exaggerating. We'll have to suss it out. I was often thinking as well, it'd be cool if there was some way you could incorporate a little bit of clay shooting into it or something. You'd have to do some little, if you could, or like leave it that it's an option. Do you know what I mean? That you could, I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe sure we could like that's just we could set up a bit of a clay trial. See, the thing is a time.
it's a
The
time, man.
the
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
You run like you say 24 hours, but you run out of time
you do, man.
hard quick.
Oh,
You've only a couple
absolutely.
of hours of daylight, and I suppose the
Yeah,
fox gives
yeah.
you a little bit of an option because obviously you're shooting in the dark there. But
Well, yeah, well, I think was it last year we actually went out after a fox in the morning and that evening. I think we went twice out after a fox,
yeah,
So, which, yeah, as you're saying, you can do, but deer, obviously, you can't, and pheasants and ducks, you can't. So, and as well as that, with the pike, you can, but again, whether it's successful or not, I don't know,
yeah.
but it is something that you can do.
Yeah, well, see, I still haven't got my pike on the 24-hour challenge, and that's the one thing we probably we kind of divided forces last year, which kind of worked a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but this year, I think we might just stay a little bit,
Hmm.
uh, just to try and concentrate maybe on the pike element. I'd love to get the pike. That'd be me primary. Well, not primary, but it'd be one of my kind of goals, I suppose, to get this year.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, look, we'll play it out. So if anyone has any suggestions or any, if they want a coaches challenge or coaches forfeits, let us know. And obviously charities, we want to try and get them involved. So if you have any ideas in terms of how we make it competitive, and obviously we're relying on the will of our great sponsors who've been brilliant up to now. Um,
Absolutely, for some prizes. Yeah.
some prizes and stuff. So we'll be going out with the bag and bowl again. Please God this year, and any support will be greatly appreciated once again. So yeah, we've some great um, friends in that sphere, and they come up trumps for us every year, thankfully. So yeah, hopefully get behind the IHP challenge this year again. And we'd love to.
Absolutely.
I think Rob actually came up with a very good suggestion. I think last year it'd be deadly if we could get a little bit of interaction going on Instagram with people. So maybe people were doing a couple of live videos or something and tagging us, or I don't know how that works. I have to get a little bit more tech savvy, but
Yeah.
if we can get kind of a little bit more, live interaction and stuff, so we know how people are getting on, because
Hmm.
it's steady, and it's about trying to build that bit of a buzz.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, yeah.
Looking
No,
forward to it now.
that'll be good. So am I. Yeah, absolutely. When you start chatting about it, you're thinking, "Geez, this will be great." Yeah. No, looking forward to it. And we will have something finalised plan wise in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, we'll have a full plan in place to develop, as you know.
Steady stuff. I want to just probably just get. I know we're going to probably wrap up now fairly
Hmm.
shortly, but
Yep.
just a couple of things I would like to, or just in terms of our Let's Talk gear over the next couple of weeks. I have a really cool set of sticks. I think you'll actually like these, Brandy. I think we talked about them before, but I'm going to do a full review on them. They're again a Davros head, but they're the Primus, but they're just a two stick. So it's not the
Okay.
tripod; it's just two sticks. So, and I know a lot of people in the deer stalking community like the viability of. I know a lot of people would shoot with just one stick, like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a little U on the top of it. But some of them are homemade, and they just use that. This is perfect for that. You just need your Davros head adapter on your gun, and then just clicks in, and you're up on two sticks. Very, very lightweight, very robust. Um, and I'm going to try and go out with a couple of times now with a few foxes, and just to test how steady they are. But yeah, I think they're a really cool alternative to some of the sticks out there, and it just gives people another perspective on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. For sure, man. Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely. We'll have to give them a go. That'll be great, man. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be
Steady,
something to
steady.
something to bring up and stuff. Before we do go as well, the 27th of this month, I think, isn't it? Isn't that we said down in Wild Hunter Clone? There is Thomas Jacks, a Pulsar night, and Pix for us Terminal night on. Which am I right in saying that? I think it's the 27th of this month, which would be next Wednesday. Am I right in saying? I
Nick,
think
that's
thereabouts.
correct. That's
Next Wednesday,
correct.
yeah. So definitely head down to that and show support. Begs to be seen whether we're going to be down. Hopefully, we wanted it. We certainly wanted it. I wanted to actually get over to Kildare hunting this week, but just with Clash and Train and then a few bits and pieces going on, I didn't get a chance to get over. But we definitely we're going to try, or one of us will try and get down to the lads in Wild Hunter anyway.
Yeah, it'd be
For that
brilliant to
night.
get down and see. Like that. I think there's I think the bold Giannis actually sent me just a picture just as we're live here and there. He's after getting a new terminal there,
Oh,
and
did
I
he?
think he has a fox down there already. So there won't
Oh,
be a
lovely.
fox safe in County Kildare now. He is.
No, no, no. What did he go for in the end up?
It went for the Tellus, the XQ38, I think.
Oh, did he? Absolutely, man. Brilliant, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant, brilliant,
yeah.
brilliant,
So
brilliant. That's brilliant.
nice machine. So yeah, there won't be, as I said. I don't know. The range of that is 6, 7, 800 meters or whatever it is.
Brilliant.
There won't be a fox safe from here to
No,
awfully, as to say.
oh, for the honest to God, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, fair play to him. Well, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah. Good
yeah.
stuff.
So
Good
look, we
stuff.
might we might have to head down to that if it all works out, man. Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Deadly
100%.
stuff. Deadly
Yeah,
stuff.
for
And the
sure.
best of luck to the lads. I'm sure it's going to be a great night. They always put on a great show down there. To be the tea and the biscuits down there as well, I presume, as they always do.
I hope so.
And there'd be plenty. There'd be always a bit of crack down there, because you're meeting again. You're meeting like-minded people. And and the lads down there do a great show, and you'll generally come out. I think the first year we went down there, actually, Brenny, we went down, and that's where we met the lads actually down. I think it was a full terminal night down there. Was a couple of different terminals, wasn't there, down there that night?
Yeah.
Um, and they put on a great show. And we got to have a peek through some of the stuff. And as one of the lads says, Jesus Christ, you come in here a fucking wallet and you come out with none. But as he said himself, it's our only hobby, so it's not a, it could be worse. You could be pissing her up against a wall somewhere.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, yeah. So definitely look, go down and have a look anyway and treat yourself. It's Christmas time. It's practically Christmas anyway. Sure, fucker. Why not?
Absolutely,
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? Well, listen, we better wrap it up on that one. We'll have this up. It'll be up on Spotify and anywhere you get your people get their podcasts in the morning.
Daddy, and
Yep.
yeah, throw us a like, a share, and if you go onto Spotify, there's a little rating. If you like what we do, just keep that taken over if we can. Just give us, obviously, with the hunting community, as we said, it's a little bit niche, and they tend to kind of limit our exposure online and so on and so forth. So any little bit of help that we can get in terms of liking and sharing what we do continues to grow what we do, and help us spread the word, as to say. What do you think of my little videos on Instagram, by the way?
Oh,
You like
man, I
that?
was so delighted, man. I sort of got it. Like Elon Musk and Trump, two of the biggest names, man, and they're all over it. That's
Look at it, I'm
unbelievable.
telling you, man. I'm telling you. And I think the Bow Don one there fucking gave you a bit of a shout out there. I don't think you've quite seen it yet, because you wouldn't be. I'd say you'd be laying into me. But on that note, we shall leave it. All
We're
right.
gonna leave it 110%. Listen, everybody, if you're heading out, stay safe. Let us know how you're all getting on, and yeah, sure, we'll talk to you on the next one.
Stay hunting, guys. Over and out.
Take it easy.